Don't forget to subscribe. Afterwards, the wisest and most spiritual books from the greatest authors await you every day. And now buckle up, sit back and we'll begin.
Live contemplating the body through mindfulness. Live contemplating feelings. In this way you will be aware of and control wrong desires. Gautama Buddha. In our lives, change is unavoidable, loss is unavoidable. In the adaptability and ease with which we experience change, lies our happiness and freedom. Everything is changeable, everything appears and disappears. There is no blissful peace until one passes beyond the agony of life and death. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draws it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. One of his students asked Buddha, "Are you the Messiah?" "No," answered Buddha. "Then are you a healer?" "No," Buddha replied. "Then are you a teacher?" The student persisted. "No, I am not a teacher." "Then what are you?" asked the student exasperated. "I am awake," Buddha replied. The mind is the source of happiness and unhappiness. If you are poor, live wisely. If you have riches, live wisely. It is not your station in life but your heart that brings blessings. You can search throughout the entire universe for someone who is more deserving of your love and affection than you are yourself, and that person is not to be found anywhere. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. There are those who discover they can leave behind destructive reactions and become patient as the earth, unmoved by fires of anger or fear, unshaken as a pillar, unperturbed as a clear and quiet pool. How does one stay mindful? Where feelings are known as they arise, known as they persist, known as they pass away. Thoughts are known as they arise, known as they persist, known as they pass away. Perceptions are known they arise, known as they persist, known as they pass away. This is how a monk stays awake. If you want to understand the causes that existed in the past, look at the results as they are manifested in the present. And if you want to understand what results will be manifested in the future, look at the causes that exist in the present. Do not look for a sanctuary in anyone except yourself. A victor only breeds hatred, while a defeated man lives in misery, but a man at peace within lives happily, abandoning up ideas of victory and defeat. Look not to the faults of others, nor to their omissions and commissions, but rather look to your own acts, to what you have done and left undone. To have everything is to possess nothing. Most problems, if you give them enough time and space, will eventually wear themselves out. My teaching is not a philosophy. It is the result of direct experience. My teaching is a means of practice, not something to hold on to or worship. My teaching is like a raft used to cross the river. Only a fool would carry the raft around after he had already reached the other shore of liberation. He who causes suffering shall suffer. There is no escape. The masters only point the way. But if you meditate and follow the Dharma, you will free yourself from desire. Everything arises and passes away. When you see this, You are above sorrow. This is the shining way. At the bottom of things, most people want to be understood and appreciated. You are all Buddhas. There is nothing you need to achieve. Just open your eyes. Rather than continuing to seek the truth, simply let go of your views. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. It can be argued that peace and happiness comes from the subjective internalized perspective of realizing things could be worse and being grateful they aren't. The alternative view that peace and happiness comes from the objective external perspective of having more and better things than at present, while important for growth, can be a never-ending source of jealousy, dissatisfaction and disappointment. A balance of the two, where people are grateful for what they have while striving for more, seems the best blended perspective. The more completely we give of ourselves, the more completely the world gives back to us. One who does not rouse themselves when it is time to rise, who, though capable, is full of sloth, whose will and thought are weak, that lazy and idle person will never find their way to true knowledge. Apply yourself to solitude. One who is given to solitude knows things as they really are. This is how to contemplate our conditioned existence in this fleeting world. Like a tiny drop of dew, or a bubble floating in a stream. Like a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, or a flickering lamp, an illusion, a phantom, or a dream. So is all conditioned existence to be seen. True charity occurs only when there are no notions of giving, giver, or gift. Do not have as friends harmful people. The wise person does not associate with the worst of people. Have as friends virtuous people. The wise person associates with the best of people. The fool says, "These are my sons, this is my land, this is my money." In reality, the fool does not own himself, much less sons, land, or money. How easy it is to see your brother's faults, how hard it is to face your own. You winnow his in the wind like chaff, but yours you hide, like a cheat covering up an unlucky throw. Dwelling on your brother's faults multiplies your own. You are far from the end of your journey. The way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. See how you love. There is no fire like passion, no crime like hatred, no sorrow like separation, no sickness like hunger, and no joy like the joy of freedom. Never have anything to do with likes and dislikes. The absence of what one likes is painful, as is the presence of what one dislikes. Therefore don't take a liking to anything. To lose what one likes is hard, but there are no bonds for those who have no likes and dislikes. From preference arises sorrow, from preference arises fear, but he who is freed from preference has no sorrow and certainly no fear. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind. If a man speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering will follow him as the wheel of the cart follows the beast that draws the cart. If a man speaks or acts with a pure mind, joy follows him as his own shadow. There are two obstacles to enlightenment. 1. Thinking you know. 2. Thinking you don't know. Endurance is one of the most difficult disciplines, but it is to the one who endures that the final victory comes. Those who, relying upon themselves only, not looking for assistance to anyone besides themselves, it is they who will reach the topmost height. The 4 reliances. First, rely on the spirit and meaning of the teachings, not on the words. Second, rely on the teachings, not on the personality of the teacher. Third, rely on real wisdom, not superficial interpretation. And fourth, rely on the essence of your pure wisdom mind, not on judgmental perceptions. And pretend an evil friend is haughty to be feared than an unmanageable beast. An unmanageable beast may mouthful your build up, but an evil friend fortitude mouthful your intellect. May we live like the lotus, at home in muddy water. Your enemy can be your greatest teacher. We do not learn by experience, but by our capacity for experience. Generosity brings happiness at every stage of its expression. We experience joy in forming the intention to be generous. We experience joy in the actual act of giving something. And we experience joy in remembering the fact that we have given. It is our own thoughts that lead us into trouble, not other people. Look upon him who shows you your faults as a revealer of treasure. Seek his company who checks and chides you, the sage who is wise in reproof. It fares well and not ill with him who seeks such company. There is no fire like passion. There are no chains like hate. Illusion is a net, desire is a rushing river. Treat not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. The truth is not arbitrary or a matter of opinion, but can be investigated, and those who earnestly search for the truth will find it. The truth is hidden to the blind, but he who has the mental eye sees the truth. When your mind is set in meditative equipoise, you can see reality exactly as it is. In a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth, and have begun striving for ourselves. This is a helpful pointer for our everyday presence practice. Can you catch yourself angrily defending your point of view or attacking the other person's? There's the ego. Even if everyone else is not doing good, I alone will. Even if everyone else is doing wrong, I alone will not. A man traveling across a field encountered a tiger. He fled, the tiger after him. Coming to a precipice, he caught hold of the root of a wild vine and swung himself down over the edge. The tiger sniffed at him from above. Trembling, the man looked down to where, far below, another tiger was waiting to eat him. Only the vine sustained him. 2 mice, one white and one black, little by little started to gnaw away the vine. The man saw a luscious strawberry near him. Grasping the vine with one hand, he plucked the strawberry with the other. How sweet it tasted! Speak only the speech that neither torments self nor does harm to others. That speech is truly well spoken. The heavens and the earth may be captured by the mind's eye. The one who wanders independent in the world, free from opinions and viewpoints, does not grasp them and enter into disputations and arguments. As the lotus rises on its stalk unsoiled by the mud and the water, so the wise one speaks of peace and is unstained by the opinions of the world. You too shall pass away. Knowing this, how can you quarrel? I do not believe in a fate that falls on men however they act, but I do believe in a fate that falls on them unless they act. How does one practice mindfulness? Sit in meditation. Be aware of only your breath. All tremble at violence, all fear death. Putting oneself in the place of another, one should not kill nor cause another to kill. Do not pursue the past. Do not lose yourself in the future. The past no longer is. The future has not yet come. Looking deeply at life as it is. In the very here and now, the practitioner dwells in stability and freedom. We must be diligent today. To wait until tomorrow is too late. Death comes unexpectedly. How can we bargain with it? The sage calls a person who knows how to dwell in mindfulness night and day, one who knows the better way to live alone. All beings tremble before violence. All love life. All fear death. See yourself in others. Then whom can you hurt? What harm can you do? I knew that most people never see this reality because they attach to the material aspect of the world. Illusions of self and other fill their vision. I also realized there are those with little dust limiting their vision. Let go of anger. Let go of pride. When you are bound by nothing, you go beyond sorrow. By your own efforts, waken yourself, watch yourself, and live joyfully. Let us live most happily, free from hatred in the midst of the hateful. Let us remain free from hatred in the midst of people who hate. Make of yourself a light. The mind contains all possibilities. Understand that the body is merely the foam of a wave, the shadow of a shadow. If you can keep as silent as a broken gong, then you have attained, when you know no anger. No matter what path you choose, really walk it. Nothing ever exists entirely alone, everything is in relation to everything else. Everything is based on mind, is led by mind, is fashioned by mind. If you speak and act with a polluted mind, suffering will follow you, as the wheels of the ox cart follow the footsteps of the ox. Everything is based on mind, is led by mind, is fashioned by mind. If you speak and act with a pure mind, happiness will follow you, as a shadow clings to a form. Karma grows from our hearts. Karma terminates from our hearts. I will purify my bodily actions through repeated reflection. I will purify my verbal actions through repeated reflection. I will purify my mental actions through repeated reflection. That's how you should train yourself. You throw thorns, falling in my silence they become flowers. Like a fine flower, beautiful to look at but without scent, fine words are fruitless in a man who does not act in accordance with them. All the holy words you read and all the holy words you speak are as nothing if you do not act upon them. Even if you read little and say little but live the right way, forsaking craving, hatred and delusion, you will know the truth and find calmness and will show others the path. Long is the night for the sleepless. Long is the road for the weary. Long is samsara, the cycle of continued rebirth, for the foolish, who have not recognized the true teaching. If you sleep, desire grows in you like a vine in the forest. Like a monkey in the forest you jump from tree to tree, never finding the fruit, from life to life, never finding peace. If you are filled with desire, your sorrows swell like the grass after the rain. But if you subdue desire, your sorrows shall fall from you like drops of water from a lotus flower. Peace comes from within. Do not try to seek it without. Your days pass like rainbows, like a flash of lightning, like a star at dawn. Your life is short. How can you quarrel? Beware of the anger of the body. Master the body. Let it serve truth. Beware of the anger of the mouth. Master your words. Let them serve truth. Beware of the anger of the mind. Master your thoughts. Let them serve truth. Believe nothing, O monks, just because you have been told it, or it is commonly believed, or because it is traditional, or because you yourselves have imagined it. Do not believe what your teacher tells you merely out of respect for the teacher. But whatsoever, after due examination and analysis, you find to be conducive to the good, the benefit, the welfare of all beings, that doctrine believe and cling to and take as your guide. Do not say anything harsh. What you have said will be said back to you. I call wise man who, while he is innocent, endures insults and blows with a patience equal to its strength. The judgment, you are now before Yama, king of the dead. In vain will you try to deny or conceal the evil deeds you have done. The mirror in which Yama seems to read your past is your own memory, and also his judgment is your own. It is you yourself who pronounce your own judgment. In his ignorance of the whole truth, each person maintains his own arrogant point of view. Do not overrate what you have received, nor envy others. He who envies others does not obtain peace of mind. If you hold yourself dear, protect yourself well. Water surrounds the lotus flower, but does not wet its petals. Winter always turns into spring. Whoever doesn't flare up at someone who's angry wins a battle hard to win. If by leaving a small pleasure one sees a great pleasure, let a wise man leave the small pleasure, and look to the great. It is because I perceive the danger in the practice of mystic wonders, that I loathe, abhor, and am ashamed thereof. Those who are free of resentful thoughts surely find peace. First of all there will appear to you, swifter than lightning, the luminous splendor of the colorless light of emptiness, and that will surround you on all sides. Try to submerge yourself in that light, giving up all belief in a separate self, all attachment to your illusory ego. Giving the best to others are giving the best to us. The value of life is not based on how long we live, but how much can we contribute to others in our society? It is your mind that creates the world. Life is uncertain, death is certain. On a long journey of human life, faith is the best of companions. It is the best refreshment on the journey, and it is the greatest property. Do not believe anything because it is said by an authority, or if it is said to come from angels, or from gods, or from an inspired source. Believe it only if you have explored it in your own heart and mind and body and found it to be true. Work out your own path, through diligence. Gautama Buddha.
And that's not all. Our experts and regular viewers respond to all comments. Also check if you forgot to subscribe and set your bell to receive notifications about new audiobooks and other useful self-development materials that we release regularly. Join in the discussions, don't forget to give likes and, if possible and inspired, support the development of the channel financially. All useful links will be in the description and the first attached comment. Goodness, love and wisdom to all. And now move on to watch the next part of the video at the links below, or choose something from the playlists of the channel and those you see on the screen.